How's it going, everyone? Anthony here from MTG Alpha, and I'm going to be going over my Kambal Profiteering Mayor deck in MTG Arena. This is my Kambal Brawl deck, and this is the first time I'm doing a video like this. This is my $5 setup, so yeah, I hope you like it. Not bad. It's not a bad setup. Little janky on the camera, but yeah, how's it going? So Kambal Profiteering Mayor, super cool commander, and it's been getting me through a lot of matches in Arena. It's getting me a lot of like hitting the gold objectives. So it's like a life gain deck with tokens, and I like that if we go up against certain decks, we're kind of at an advantage. So if we're going up against like a Cranko deck, that's our best matchup. We're going to get copies of all the goblins. We're going to drain them for each instance of those tokens entering under our control, and we're going to gain life off of that. So Kambal says, whenever one or more tokens your opponents control enter, for each of them, create a tap token that's a copy of it. It only triggers once each turn. And whenever one or more tokens you control enter, each opponent loses one and you gain one life. So it's a really fun token deck for Orzhov with our ETB triggers and our life gain triggers. So I'm not really doing anything like aristocrat-y in here. So here's the deck list. We can go over the deck list and then do a couple matches so you can see it in action. So this is given the cards that I have unlocked, and you can find the deck list in the description. You can copy paste that, import it into Arena yourself. But yeah, we have Ajani's Welcome, some things to gain even more life on creatures entering. With that, we also have Soul Warden. We have Authority of Consuls, so that way we'll gain life whenever a creature enters under our opponent's control. Case of the Uneaten Feast, we're gaining life from creatures entering under our control, and then later on, if we've gained 5 or more life, then we can sacrifice this, and then we can recast creatures from our graveyard. So that's pretty nice later on. Esper Sentinel, of course, for Arena. Guide of Souls, another new Soul Warden type card, except it also gets us energy, which when we attack, we can pay 3 energy to put 2 1/1 counters on a creature that's attacking, plus a flying counter. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types. So yeah, that's good for the evasion. Lunarch Veteran for the ETB triggers. Ocelot Pride, of course. This is difficult to actually keep out on the battlefield, but it is one of my favorite newer cards. I put it in every deck that I can. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, create a 1/1 cat creature token. If you have the city's blessing, for each token you control that entered this turn, you create a token that's a copy of it. So it's a 1/1 with first strike and life link. It's possible to start gaining life and getting tokens real early on, but for the most part, we're going to be able to at least get a token off of gaining life in various other ways, and then doubling all of the tokens that we control at the end of each turn. It's very easy to go wide. Path to Exile for some removal, and yeah, just as you can see here, I'm not going to go over every single card in the deck, but I'll just kind of like gloss over some of these things. Dark Ritual for ramp. In Brawl, we have a select few options for ramp. So we have Heraldic Banner, Chromatic Lantern, Mind Stone, Cold Steel Heart, Ornithopter of Paradise, Arcane Signet, of course. And then we could thin out our deck with Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista. I should have a fetch land in here, but I do not. So more ETB triggers with Ellis Ilkor. Amalia is very powerful in this deck. I think Amalia is very powerful in general. Whenever we gain life, she explores, and then we destroy all other creatures if its power is exactly 20. So with all of our ETB and generating tokens and doubling tokens, it's very easy to get her to get up to that 20 power, clear the board, and then swing, but usually our opponents will scoop then. Lotho's kind of like a nice little like early game value card. And then for tokens, we have Bitter Blossom, Dreadhorde Invasion, we have Skrell's Hive. All these are going to create us a token at the beginning of our upkeep, and we lose one when that happens, but it's negated by Kambal and several other of those ETB cards, including Impassioned Orator. What else do we have here? Some more removal. That's it for the 2 drops. Blot Out the Sky is pretty nice. Because we can create a lot of 2/1 flyers. I think that it's easy to overlook the value of the tokens when trying to focus on hitting 6 for X to destroy all non-creature, non-land permanents, but we do run a lot of artifacts and enchantments, so I would be a little bit careful about playing this, but you're going up against an equipment deck. This is a really good card to draw into. Dumping something into X is great. Especially when we're creating treasure tokens off of our opponents generating treasure tokens with our commander out. So we have something to dump our mana into, and yeah, all the ETB triggers and everything. Ruthless Lawbringer is my favorite form of removal. If you're running these colors at ETBs, you sacrifice a creature, and then when you do, you get to destroy target non-land permanent. It's a 3/2 with any like non-land permanent removal. Plus you get the sack triggers if it's relevant. It's not super relevant in this deck, but it's nice to kind of combine removal with a body that will ETB and synergize with whatever else. Yeah, Kambal Console of Allocation for more life gain and drain. We have the Veto, Sanguine Bond, and Exquisite Blood combo. So that's come in clutch a few times. My favorite cards that are specific to Kambal would be, where do we have? Hunted Bone Brute. So for 3, it's a 6/2 with Menace. The quote downside to a 6/2 for 3 with Menace is that when it enters, target opponent creates 2 1/1 white dog creature tokens. However, with our commander out, we'll also get those creature tokens. Then we get to drain them, and then when Hunted Bone Brute dies, each opponent loses 3 life, so we get to drain them a little bit. It's a lot of value for 3 in this deck. Also, Shadrick Silver Quill, perfect card in here. Flying Double Strike 2/5 at the beginning of combat on your turn, so it will trigger the same turn it's played. You may choose 2. Each mode must target a different player. So target player creates a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. I'm almost always going to choose that for our opponent. So our opponent is going to create the token, which we'll also get a copy of, drain them, gain some life, and then I'm usually good with card draw in this deck. If I need to, I'll choose that second mode. However, I'm going to choose the third mode. Target player puts a 1/1 counter on each creature they control. So as I'm gifting you a token, I'm also getting that token, then powering everything on my side of the board with these 1/1 counters, Shadrix itself, and some of the other flyers for evasion. It can make for a pretty pretty good win coming up. So Black Market Connections, Dark Tutelage, Phyrexian Arena, all for some card advantage. We have Citywide Bust for our board wipes. There's not a whole lot of options for board wipes, especially cheaper options in Brawl. So we have Welcoming Vampire. Whenever one or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. So a little bit more card draw here. Delaney, Streetwise Lookout. Creatures you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. That's good with our tokens. And if an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Now, it doesn't work with Kambal because Kambal says it only triggers once each turn. So it doesn't work with Kambal. However, it does work with our ETBs like Soul Warden, Guide of Souls. It works with Ocelot Pride. So it does synergize with a ton of cards that we play. So Delaney is great in here, and Heliod, of course, to put more counters on creatures with all of our life gain. Anointed Procession and Mondrak for doubling up our tokens. We could definitely add in the I forget what it's called, but the one that triples our tokens. We could add that in here. I don't have it in here currently. Shouldred, of course. Whenever you draw a card, gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So gain and drain, but if you are running black, then Shouldred's a no-brainer. I mean, that's really it as for like some of the more interesting cards. Myral Shield of Argive. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Whenever Myral Shield of Argive attacks, create X 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control. So it's good to kind of prevent our opponents from interacting with us on our turn. And then it's going to create a bunch of tokens, which is our main kind of synergy here. Angel of Destiny, to maybe try to win the game in a cheeky way with all of our life gain. And Crested Sunmare, my favorite life gain card, just at the beginning of each end step. So this triggers pretty much every turn with our commander. If you've gained life this turn, create a 5/5 white horse creature token that would happen to have indestructible with Crested Sunmare out. So yeah, that's kind of it. I'm still making a little bit of tweaks here and there, but I've been running this deck for quite a while. It's kind of my go-to deck. It gets my gold for the day, and it's pretty consistent. So let's do some games and see how it plays. So going up against Omnath, Locus of Creation. So we'll see how this works. His hand's not bad. I think I'm going to keep this. And we get to go first, so that's not bad. Let's reveal the Swamp so we can get Shine, Shadow Snarl down, and then Authority of the Consoles to try to slow down our opponent, who is playing a landfall deck. Let's go. Let's actually thin out our deck with Prismatic Vista. Let's get a Plains. Majority of our deck is running white. And then Arcane Signet. Last turn. We have 4 mana to play with the next turn. Interesting. Swamp, of course. Now, do we get Bitter Blossom and Amalia out? Or do we get Twin Blade Paladin? Yeah, we do need to gain some life. Maybe we'll draw into a land. We'll do both next turn, so. Draw Bitter Blossom, Amalia. Pass the turn. Opponent ramps with Cultivate. Lots of ramp, of course. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Token generation. Let's do Guide of Souls. Drop Kambal. Since we're starting to generate some tokens here, we can start gaining life. That'll... Welcoming Vampire is not bad. But I think I'm going to discard that. Same with Amalia. Opponent plays Omnath, comes in town, life, triggers Amalia. And we draw into a land when she explores. We get 4 from landfall trigger. Now we're starting to see some. I mean, this might help outpace our opponent. We have 5 to play with. I think I'm going to keep this on top of it. So then we can... Yeah, we'll drop Heliod. Enters as a creature. I'm going to just start putting the counters on Amalia. Yes, we'll keep flowering. I think we're going to just kind of like power up our creatures. Just might as well swing in with everything. We have a blocker. We can put this on Amalia. Swing for 9 right there. Bring him down to 12. Alright, so now we lose our ETB triggers. So that shuts off Guide of Souls. Malia still gains life, but no, because not from authority of the console. Kambal, we need to find other ways to gain life to trigger Malia. So that completely shut us off there. So we get to pump everything up. Can still give something lifelink. Yeah, let's just swing with everything. Lifelink to Amalia. Here we go, nice. Yes, I had fun. Okay, going up against Nicol, Bolas, Dragon God. Not totally sure about going up against Grixis with all of the discard, sacrifice, and removal. Not bad if we can get some tokens down real early, or maybe some card advantage cards like Phyrexian Arena. Something that could outpace them. Griffinari's not going to trigger. We do get to ramp, but we're not really ramping into anything. I kind of want to keep this. It's a little risky unless we get super lucky and draw into Veto. Let's see what happens. Adding Vista to shuffle up our deck just in case for some good luck. Let's thin it out a little bit. And let's just grab. We're rocking a lot of black. Let's grab a swamp. Cold Steel Heart, Heraldic Banner. Choosing white with Cold Steel Heart. So we really just have to try to outpace, and we have something to discard with Griffinary at least. Drop that, we'll have something drop for 2. We'll get into Dreadhorde Invasion. Actually. Heraldic Banner. Just choosing white. Whoops, I chose white for both of them, so we can't play. Shit. Alright, that was dumb. Just default choosing white every time, because we usually need it. So we have a few black cards in hand. Alright, holding up blue. Fancy, fancy. Got 5. Should we try to... Oh man, I think they're just going to counter load though. I don't want to get too greedy here. Let's try to bait him out with Kambal. They probably wouldn't want to Kambal out. Look at the top 2 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down, put the other one above his library, and then they cast a spell. As long as it's exiled, they can play it. Oh, sweet. Well, let's get our Dreadhorde Invasion and start. Really? Why did they scoop? Alright. Game 3. Alright, so we're playing against Eluge, the Shoreless Sea. Power and toughness each equal to the number of islands you control. Okay. Whenever it enters or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. It's an island in addition to its other types as long as it has a flood counter. And at the first instant or sorcery spell you cast costs 1 blue pip less to cast for each land you control with the flood counter on it. It's very interesting. I mean, at least it's a little bit more interesting of a for a mono blue commander. However, I'm sure they're not going to do anything that interesting with it. Lunarch Veteran, turn 1, turn 2, Ajani's Pridemate, and then stall for the next few turns. Let's mulligan. keep it because I don't want to go down anymore. I've never played against this commander. I'm not sure if keeping the board wipe is relevant. I'd rather keep the removal. I would hope to get out Lyra. I'm going to bottom Kaya's Wrath and hope I don't regret it later. We're also not on the play. All those cards saved. Let's throw that back. There's not a V-Stock. Have a Plains. Ramping with Cold Steel Heart. Yeah. Let's get out Skrull's Hive to make the most of our mana that's available to us. Get it out there. Okay. Arcane Signet. Let's just get rid of their commander. I don't want to deal with this. Swing and get him a poison counter. Oh no, never mind. Just came in. The other commander costs 6. So I think we saved a little bit of time. 3, 4. Chrome Host Seed Shark. It's of course blue. And rather than not hold up any mana. Just enough to play Lyra. That would be so nice, but I really don't want it to get countered. They're still looking through their hand. Alright, let's see if we can bait a counter spell out. Oh, they don't have it. Okay. Let's play Kambal. Play Guide of Souls. Pass the turn. At least with Kambal, we'll get these incubate tokens. Some sort of effect. Sword of Forge and Frontier onto the Flying Shard. Really not bad. Huh. I kind of want to play Lean and War Leader. 4/4. Then we might as well swing with everything else. It just says Toxic 1. I think I'm gonna save it. Well, no, he's gonna create through all 2. Try to do 3. No, I'm not gonna save it. We will take action. Let's put it on there. End the turn, and the next turn, hopefully we can play Lyra, get an energy from Guide of the Souls, attack with Leonin, get the 2 1/1 cats, tapped and attacking with Lifelink, put the flying counter on Leonin, and then see what happens. I kind of wish that they would attack with the Seed Shark right now. I don't know if they're going to. Otherwise, even with the flying counter, we're risking losing Lean and War Leader. Which is always a pain that you have to attack to have its ability triggered. It's really risky keeping it out. Yes. Okay, cool. Perfect. Yeah, go ahead. We'll take 4. Go to 14. What? Okay. So they just draw into some counter spells. Cool. Luckily they cannot play it on our turn. Some more empty incubator tokens. Okay, yeah. I think we're good here. Forget we get the energy ETB from Guide of Souls, from Skrell's Hive. Ooh, yeah. Skrell's Hive. Drop Lyra. Gain some life. Swing with everything. Gain some more life off Guide of the Souls. Get our energy. Put the energy on Lean and War Leader. That's it. Right? I think that's it. Yeah, we're good. What? What do they have? Another X. What? Oh, you bitch. How? Oh, because... See, I'm totally overlooking what their commander can do. Well, at least if they don't gain life, if we survive this turn, we have them off of the... If they don't gain life, we survive, and Kambal stays out, we win. We have... Well, they have to be careful about what they actually play right now. Any non-creature spell is going to generate an incubator, which is going to drain them for the last bit of life that they have. No. Very risky. Oh, very risky. That's it, right? Oh, they only trigger one. Okay, wow. They would have a fucking one ring. They're playing in a Cyclonic Rift. Oh, that's rough. Oh! Oh! Wait a minute. Get protection from everything. Can't be targeted or enchanted, but this doesn't target. They just... Yeah. Look at that. We got super lucky. They tried. I mean, they were doing everything that they possibly should have done. Get the Cyclonic Rift back. One ring. Ooh. Look at that. Okay, cool. All right, so that is the Kambal Profiteering Mayor Brawl deck tech. We got to play a couple games. They weren't too bad. Definitely wasn't as smooth as I would hope. I think that I had a lot of good games with Kambal when I first built the deck, but there seems to be like a pacing issue. Everything's kind of like speeding up, especially with Nadu. Since building this and Nadu coming out and all of the Bloomburrow cards that really just kind of like speed up these games a lot. I'd say that there probably could be some tweaks in order to keep up with that pacing. Otherwise, it's definitely a super fun deck. And I'll have the deck list in the description. Let me know what cards that you would take out or add. Maybe I have them. I do have some wild cards here, so kind of hoarding some wild cards for the perfect cards to add. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you like this video. It's a new kind of video, and this is my little $5 streaming setup, so I hope you liked it. And yeah, until next time, peace.